Hi there, Jaya.
Hello, hello.
I can't hear you, my dear.
Wow. Well,
Oh, maybe it's my computer. Yeah, now I can hear you. Sorry.
it's okay. At least you found it.
Hi there. Hello there, Olivia. Feel free to unmute.
Hello.
We have a little wrinkle. Apparently another meeting was scheduled at this time using our standing Zoom account. So I'm just on hold with the executive assistant. But hopefully the problem won't affect us, and they're just confused about who's using one account. That's my assumption, but there's something called the Wellfleet Environmental Regs Review that's supposed to be here at 11, so, but they're not yet, so. Anyway, hold on just one sec. Okay, I just have them on speaker, and in case they dial in and say, they said, well, use this account. I said, I can't change the account now. Everyone's already done it. Anyway, welcome, Olivia. So Jaya, Olivia's hopefully interested in joining the recycling committee. So yes.
Hi.
And you're a friend of Jane's, or?
Yes.
Ah, wonderful. Jane is the one who recruited me in 2016, 17, something like that. And are you living full-time in Wellfleet now, or?
I am now. I'm not sure what the future holds. I might be more going back and forth to New York, but I'm here. I come out throughout the year, so.
I see. Wonderful.
I've been here full-time for 1.5 years now.
Aha. Yes. And how has that been?
It's been amazing. I don't want to leave. I don't want to go back. So we'll see.
I bet. Yeah. That's how we all feel.
Exactly.
It's a wonderful place to be.
Where are you in New York?
I'm in
When you
Mount
go there.
Vernon. Right. Do you know where Bronxville is? So Westchester, Lower Westchester, just north of the city.
Yeah.
But I'm originally from New York City. I think spending time in Wellfleet made me realize I didn't like the city. So it was too hard to go back. So now I live in the suburbs.
Okay. Yeah, the city's great. When I go, I say with different friends, I can up to 2 weeks, maybe. I love it. And then it's like, okay.
A lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of noise, a lot of dirt.
Yeah.
I think I was so used to it. I was born there, but it's too much for me.
It's different.
I got a strange message that said I'm going to be logged out of this account. So if something strange happens, I will email everybody and let you know what's going on.
Okay.
Hey.
I do not know what's going on.
So more than one committee uses this Zoom account? Is that what?
Yeah, the town has a few accounts that they created, and this is the one. I'm hearing something else going on my phone, so I don't know what is going on. I mean, on my computer. So I don't know what's happening, but hopefully it's the other group's problem, not ours.
That's what we always hope.
Yes. And as long as it's just us, I don't get what this is. Uh-oh, no, don't cancel. Let me admit Lydia. Hi, Lydia.
Hi, Lydia.
You want to unmute so we can hear you? Hi there. So there's something weird going on. There's another meeting that was scheduled at this time on this Zoom account. So Rebecca's out of the office. Somebody named Karen is trying to sort it out, and she wanted us to use another meeting ID, which I said we couldn't do. So apparently Hillary has a meeting at this.
Could we just do it on our own Zoom account, or just send?
Well, I was on hold with them for a long time. I don't know what they got, sent the wrong ID to Hillary for her meeting. Who knows?
Okay.
But I'm just going to carry on until
sounds good.
Happens. So if something happens and we get cut off, then I'll email everybody and with either a new link to just use my personal or something.
All right.
Anyway, hi, Nancy.
Hi, Christine.
How are you doing? So we have a guest, Olivia, with us. Would you like to, well, we can see, let's see, here's Jane coming. Do we see Jane? Hi, Carol, how you doing? Hi, Jane. I see that you are on your iPad. And you're trying to connect to audio.
Or new iPad.
Yeah, exactly. It's always said that. Do you live near Jane by any chance?
I do not. I'm over off Pilgrim Springs Road towards Indian Neck.
Okay.
I am too. I wonder where you are.
We are on Lil's Way. It's a very
Okay.
tiny
We're
little.
on Cove Road.
You're on Cove. Okay, lovely.
There's a little sign by the road that says Cove Woods for a small bed and breakfast. So if you ever drive by, toot
Oh,
your
wait.
away. That'd be great.
Jane's muted.
Okay, this is not.
Hi, Jane. We can see you, but you're muted.
How's that?
Good.
Perfect. Yes.
Good.
And
Sorry.
Jeffrey Canton is actually Gary Senegal, who's the chair of the Eastham Recycling Committee, who often joins us. And Olivia, would you like to just introduce yourself? And
Hi, everyone. My name's Olivia Kraus. I have a house here in Wellfleet. I've been living here full time now for a year and a half, although the future is unclear. I'll probably be going back and forth to New York, but I'm really passionate about recycling, and it's something that I've been involved with. A million years ago, I started the recycling program in my high school. So that's a very long time ago. But so I'm really excited about this, and I'm always taken a big interest in what's going on at the transfer station and making sure I'm doing everything right. So I would love to be more involved.
wonderful. Well, welcome. We're very glad that that Jane put a bug in your ear about joining. Thank you, Jane, for referring you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So, I think we can get started. It's 11:05. And hi there, Gary.
Hi there. I'm
You're
going to change my name right now so everybody knows who I am.
We've learned his alter ego.
This is such a pain, you can't believe.
So this is the Wellfleet Recycling Committee, Tuesday, August 3rd, 11 a.m. Can we do a quick roll call? Jaya, you want to start?
Yeah, hi, I'm Jaya. I live in Wellfleet, and I've been on the committee for over a decade for sure. And yeah.
I'm Christine. I've been on co-chair with Lydia for I don't know. I think 2017 maybe 2017. Yeah.
Wow. I'm Gary Senecal. I am chair of the Eastham Recycling Committee.
Lydia Vivante, co-chair with Christina, the recycling committee.
I'm Jen Sharp, Wellfleet residents. I can't remember how long I've been on this committee, but it preceded Christine. I know that. Not Lydia, though.
And I'm Nancy Nudgme, the secretary and new member of the recycling committee since May.
I'm Carol
February.
Magno. I'm the representative from the Energy Committee to the Recycling Committee.
All righty. Thanks, everyone. Are there any announcements? We've introduced Olivia. She's introduced herself, and we welcome her and hope that she decides to join our committee. Any other announcements?
There's the AIM art sales happening this weekend, 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. 8:30 to 10:30 on Saturday, August 7th.
And where will that be? In the
That's going to be in the town hall driveway, just in front of Abbey Yo-Yo. Some great stuff.
Good. So on the agenda, number one is the swap shop reopening. I think Lydia, I emailed Roland to see if he might be available to talk to us, but I haven't. Heard from him. I think you've been in touch with him the most.
Yeah, I went over there the other day too, and things are up and running. They needed masks, so the Terry Fraser at the senior center provided a whole box of white cotton masks for people that didn't have them, as they're requiring them for everyone that enters the swap shop.
Great.
And it used to be that Bob Nazarian managed the senior tax work-off program, but that's different now. It's Terry Fraser. So if there are people that want to volunteer and get a tax deduction, it's you have to be a certain age. They can apply to work at the swap shop and have a reduction in their taxes, their town taxes.
Awesome. So if any inquiries for people to help, one would just contact Terry.
Yep.
Okay.
There's an application. It might even be on the town website. And so they can apply for that. They keep track of their hours. And yeah, they're open Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday from 8 to 12. And for volunteering, you can get in touch with Roland Blair.
And Roland handles the sign ups on a website. I think it's called Sign Up, something like that. In any case, if anyone's interested, we're happy to send that to you.
Yes,
Next,
I volunteered one day and it was a very nice way to meet people.
wonderful,
Yeah.
great. Yeah, it's like a little community center. You know, a lot of the same people come through every time they stop off at the. So how does it look inside, by the way? I haven't been there.
It's pretty packed with stuff. It was cleaned out, not really nicely, but it's definitely, I would say it looks almost like it used to.
Uh-huh.
So there's
It had a good feel. I dropped some stuff off. It had a good feel. I must say, wearing your mask down here or around your neck, you're wearing a mask, but it's like, the mask is important.
yeah, it's
The
gonna
nose is important.
Yeah. Well, if I'm in a room with people that are wearing it, you know, past their nose, I remind them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, my cloth ones always fall down and my husband has to check me with that.
Sometimes if you twist the earpiece, just make a figure 8, it'll tighten it up.
Yes, that's true.
But most of them have adjustable, cloth ones.
Mhm.
So just to mention, last year, 2020, we had a new funding for a new swap shop, but then it was on the town warrant, but it was removed due to, all the delays and funding constraints. But apparently it will be on the warrant for 2022. So that's something to look forward to, because that building is ready to go down a strong wind. So transfer station, I think Mike sent an email to everybody. You may not have gotten it, Olivia.
Yeah, I saw that. It was
Yeah.
I went into everything, pay as you throw bags, the whole,
Mhm.
with all the questions.
It was thorough.
He does say, so the pay as you throw, do we have that as an agenda item? We might as well, yeah, we can talk about that now. Olivia, I think you've been in the loop the most. Want to talk about pay as you throw? Lydia?
Huh? Oh, sorry.
Do you want to talk about the pay as you throw issue? Because I think you were in the loop with Hillary and Mike.
Sure. Yeah, there were concerns about stocking the large bags in particular. So Hillary got in touch with the company Waste Zero, and there were some shipping problems. I don't know if it was Massachusetts wide, but anyway, Wellfleet for sure. But I understand through Mike's email that that's been resolved. And I did go to the marketplace 2 days ago, and they had the large bags in stock. So it looks like things are hopefully stabilizing. It's always good to pipe up when there's a problem and let the Hillary know so she can talk to the company. and get things resolved, or at least get things, noticed.
So Mike addressed that he thinks that the situation is resolved. And then he talked quite a bit about the Bourne landfill. Do we have that on our agenda? Yes, we do. So, but I'll go ahead and talk about it now. This is something, the Bourne landfill has asked for an expansion into, like, I think it's phase 6 or 7 of property that they currently own. And they had requested our support for the expansion. And we've deferred this, I think, for a couple of meetings. And there was a Conservation Law Foundation and other organizations held a Zoom meeting, which I could not go to. Was anyone else able to attend that?
I was there. It
So-
was hosted by Sierra Club Cape Cod.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the idea is for them to commit to zero waste principles rather than rubber stamping, incineration, and landfilling. So there's some parts that are missing. There's the piece having to do with organics. Food waste is 25% at least of what people throw out. So that's something they should try to address before giving permission. And the Cape Cod Commission has met on this topic as well. And they are insisting that Bourne commit to the regional policy plans that were made recently in terms of greenhouse gas emissions and things like that. So that's a part of it. As long as they can work within those boundaries, then they can, I suppose they could, would be more likely to get permission. But there are some restrictions and things they have to work on. There's another hearing August 16th. Actually, this is a hearing that was continued to August 16th. So that would be an opportunity to learn more about it.
Could I ask a question? Maybe someone has the answer. I read a few things early on about that, and I don't know if I'm remembering correctly, but is there a potential for an impact to some of our major water system, the aquifer up there in that area? Because that was mentioned, I don't remember exactly what.
Yeah. That is a concern. There's they do have liners underneath the existing landfill, and they would in any future landfill. But I think personally, it sounds to me like they're building a Superfund site. Eventually, that liner is probably going to fail, and all the leachate from all the methane that's been stored and sitting there, because we know that in landfills, they go back to them 25, 50 years later, and the plastics are still pretty much in the same condition they were when they were buried. So I feel it's with the Conservation Law Foundation and with Sierra Club and the Cape Cod Commission, they're in a really good position to make some demands, before they allow something like this to happen.
For the water, yeah, on behalf of our water supply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, I would say, if you have concerns about the water and anything else, participate in the hearing. You can either do it, on Zoom or however they're going to be doing it, or you could write a letter.
Thank you for the info. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, I did read something that about 83% of Bourne's disposals are ash from CMAS.
Yeah, there's the incinerator there produces a lot of ash every single day, and it's trucked to Bourne and buried there. And then they cap it with more ash. So it's that itself is a concern, and to continue decade after decade, it seems like we got to go in a different direction, to not be burn and bury, not that direction.
So I mean, the two sides are like it is on a lot of things. One thing is, let's wait until there's new solutions before we stop landfills. And the other one is nothing's going to happen, or it'll happen faster if you stop the landfills. So what Mike says, in summary is that, we should support it because if there's like a hurricane or something that requires, makes it unable for towns to be unable to get their waste to the other places in Southeast Mass, then Bourne has been able to step in and sort of be a transition point. And also that so he said it's a crucial backup plan for the munis. And normally, although normally we don't take our trash to Bourne, and that if the Bourne landfill didn't take ash from CMAS, then CMAS would probably have to truck it at a state, and that would drive up costs. And he's basically saying, let's buy time by allowing the expansion while other technologies improve. So obviously the other point of view with all the environmental organizations is that zero waste measures should be pushed first to put pressure, and then rather than expanding landfills.
Was
I want to say one comment. To always be concerned with money, money, money. If it costs more, in the end, are we not putting our money toward protecting our water?
right.
That's
I agree, yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So in any case, I guess what we should do is take a vote. And I don't know that we necessarily, I mean, as a group, need to come out as opposed, or in support. They had asked us for our support. Mike had asked us for our support. But I don't know that we need to do anything other than we can just take a vote to say whether we want to write a letter of support or not, or a letter of disagreement.
I would move, or I would suggest that we they look at all alternatives. There hasn't, even in Mike's email, he didn't say anything about organics, about separating food waste.
Right.
So the low-hanging fruit, it's something that lots of communities do. The Conservation Law Foundation and CR Club say that the food waste has to be separated from sludge, like sewage waste. There are some places that combine the two, and they say that's not the way to go. So in an anaerobic digester that could be built there, they could separate, they could have two streams, the food waste and then any kind of sludge byproducts or material.
So did you want to say something, Nancy? Or are you just scratching?
Mosquitoes, sorry, yes. But didn't Carrie say something like about the digester? Did anybody talk to those towns that had the sort of unsuccessful experience with the digester? Like the smell, was it a smell issue they were talking about, or
I think in Yarmouth, there were a lot of technical issues with, I mean, they had basically an agreement with, I think it was a Maine place or New Hampshire. And they were a place that wanted to mix the sewage and food waste.
okay.
They
eventually dissolved the agreement because there were just too many obstacles. I don't know if they were logistical or what.
One good thing that Kirsty Petchy said of the Conservation Law Foundation is that there are anaerobic digesters of all sizes and types now. That the one that's on Nantucket, I guess, does combine the two, and that's, she didn't suggest it go the same route at all. But there's ones all different sizes, so it could happen that one could it be licensed in Bourne? Could one be licensed in Bourne? Could there be a smaller one in Dennis or Orleans or Wellfleet? Who knows? But it's something to look into. They're self-contained. It's rather than the windrow composting, which would happen more like on a farm. I know that in Truro, there was a talk about having windrows at a certain point at a farm there.
What did you call it? Wood?
Windrows, that's what basically piles, long
Okay,
piles of organics that are turned every so often, and there's a lot of leaf weight.
right, where people put their leaves and grass clippings,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it would include food too, and so it gets to a certain temperature, it breaks down more quickly, but it also does attract rodents and things. So that we learned that when we went to the Falmouth Compost with Me site. Although it's, yeah, I think an anaerobic digester seems to make more sense than licensing an open air compost site. Depends on how much land you have. You know, if it's a really great big piece of land, then maybe windrows would work.
Anyway, so there, oh, sorry, Gary, I just wanted to say, so there, obviously there are a lot of solutions and technologies and things that can be done to avoid landfill use.
Yeah.
In Bourne, it is mostly CMAS ash, you know, which is full of heavy metals and PFAS and other things. And although it's lined, who knows how long that will last. But go ahead, Gary, and then I think we should take a vote on whether we can want to support it or not, and then move on. What were you going to say, Gary?
Well, I just wanted to express that I think it's unfortunate that Carrie could not be with us today, because I'd love to hear the EPA's position and the Cape Cod Commission's position on the Bourne landfill expansion. I'd like to know what they had to say about that.
So all of the documents have been submitted and are available online. There's like an 8-page letter from about 6 organizations, including Conservation Law, Sierra Club, Clean Water Fund, and Sustainable Practices, outlining all of their disagreements and measures that they feel should be prioritized rather than expansion. So you can look at those online.
I would move that we support those entities and their work. Subject.
I mean, you would vote against supporting Bourne, you mean? Lydia?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So we would be we would be disagreeing with Mike then on this.
Yes.
I have a little trouble with that because I think he's such a good egg, but
Well, he is very much, but he's looking, I believe, at the practical side. He's also on the board of Recycle Works, and they work with, I would say, well, they work towards zero waste, but they also support industry. And so from his point of view, it's a kind of a logistical thing of having Bourne available if they do need a stopgap measure in terms of waste disposal. And also the fact that the waste to energy, I think they're on hold right now, but in any case, they're a way to get rid of waste. Gaia?
if I can make a short statement. I agree with you about Mike, but this is not a personal issue.
I know, I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a great guy, but it's not a personal issue, you know.
And I don't think it's, I mean, it's basically just as we've been asked to write a letter of support. So I think all we need to do is
Decline.
vote on whether we want to write a letter of support. And then if anybody wants to do anything else, or if we as a committee do, that's a separate issue. Does that sound okay? Or Lydia, you wanted to make a motion to support Conservation Law Foundation position? Lydia?
Yes, I do. I think that's a good idea.
Okay, would
Well,
anyone?
yes, it's a good compromise. Instead of just turning Bourne down, explain really why we are.
Okay, would anyone like to second that motion?
I would. Yeah,
Okay, all those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. 5-0. In favor of supporting Conservation Law Foundation position. You are next. We moved you up on our list, Carol, so you wouldn't have to sit through the whole thing if you had something else you wanted to attend to. Do you have anything to report? You're muted right now.
I enjoy your meetings. It's not a hardship. And I actually don't have anything to report. As far as I know, the landfill is still not turned on, although we think we're close.
Okay.
And
Cool.
the town has gotten a nice grant, but it's not official yet, so I can't say anything. So
Good.
thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm glad you enjoy the meetings. We enjoy having you.
You do great work.
Thank you. You do too. Energy, you may know, Olivia, but the Energy Committee, the Town Energy Committee and Climate Change arranged for all of the solar panels at the town, at the transfer station. They're all on the old dump, which is capped, and they're going to provide energy to town buildings, and they're selling quite a bit to, I think, Nauset schools.
Right.
So, next thing on the agenda is Mass Dep Cape Cod Commission Barnstable. Carrie could not make the meeting. Next thing is July 11th road race water station report. Does anybody want to make a report? Nancy or Lydia?
Things a little differently this year. We didn't have the water monster, and the hoses, there was a bit of a snafu with the hoses with connections, and the off-site remote water stations as well. So I think next time, and maybe we'll just need to have more equipment on hand and better labels and things, and maybe some additional stainless steel Fusti water tanks that can be filled and placed at the remote sites.
Yeah. The main wrinkle was that we talked with. There's kind of an echo. Does anybody have
Yeah.
two speakers or two?
Something else on.
Yeah. Do you by any chance have audio on something other than your? Nobody does? Okay. Well, maybe what we can do is, if you're not talking, you
Yeah.
anyway, so the main thing was that we thought we had discussed with the rec department that we would provide the food grade hoses so that they wouldn't have to use their big, any kind of plastic containers. And they, I guess our wires got crossed, and they had already deposited 5-gallon spring water containers at all of the stops. And they actually brought their dispenser out from the office to use right at the road race at Mayo Beach, which was better than plastic water bottles. And then they had canned water to hand out to the runners as they came through. So next year, we just want to make sure that we have more in-depth conversations and find out who's going to be at each of the stations so that we can talk directly and make sure we have a hookup for our food grade hoses so we won't have to use any plastic. But in any case, it went well. And sustainable practices, 2 people came, Audubey and Bonnie, and they brought their 2 Fusties. So those were used at the remote stops. They just poured the water from the 5-gallon plastic into our stainless steel dispensers rather than using the tap water from the hoses. But step forward in any case. There was no single-use plastic there.
Hose. They didn't have the length to get it to the water station, was the way I understood it.
Right.
I mean, in the long run, would it be worth it if they have on hand those plastic things to use them? Because that seemed to solve a lot of problems. You know, not buying new ones, but as long as they have them.
Mm-hmm.
Could use them to fill Yeah.
to fill the water uh, receptacle, the Fausti,
Right.
not Fausti. Yeah.
There are, the 5-gallon water dispensers, they're allowed in our bylaw. We just kind of discourage drinking from plastic in the first place, but I think if we can, those make sense in some circumstances, but maybe to the larger fusties delivered by, by car would work as well.
Yeah.
And they're really, they are portable, so that's a good solution. And
Yeah, the hose setup at the yacht club worked fine. It was there, but they just didn't need it because they have those 5-gallon spring waters
okay,
and just spring water. We did have problem getting the hose out to
Mayo.
race site at Mayo.
do you think we need 2 additional lengths of hoses and a couple more fusties? Like we could kind of put that on the shopping list, or for
I
next.
think they use the water grade hoses for regular hoses. So I fear that getting more of them, they're just going to get damaged like regular hoses and end up being regular hoses.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the problem with the food grade hoses is that they are not meant for traffic. So that's the main problem, is that if we run them across the road, they will be damaged.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because, oh, sorry, go ahead.
So, they did run them across, but what we can do is try to get some tracks to protect them. And if we can do that, then we can use tap water.
That's good. I
Which
was
is-
just going to quickly say, we should also ask the town if they could possibly put a water nib connection on that side of Kendrick
Yeah.
Ave. I'm not
Exactly.
sure where it ends. It might not be that difficult to.
Yeah, and it's sorely needed at the basketball court. So if they could put, and there are utilities that go to the old shellfish shack.
Does the Harbour Stage Group Theatre have water? Must have.
Well, we tried with them. We talked to all of the tenants and tried to talk to the owner, but he didn't respond to us. And the tenants said, we need to talk to the owner. And there is a spigot right next to the basketball court, but it's turned off.
I see. Okay.
So if anybody knows the owner, I forget his name, but we tried to reach out to him by email and phone.
Bookstore restaurant's always been really nice about it, but
Yeah.
like Christine was
So
saying,
great.
it's
Yeah,
hard.
just have to, it might be cheaper to just find a way to protect the hose. I looked at some options.
Mhm.
That's something we probably want to put on the calendar for next year
Right.
to make sure that we have the equipment we need. Anything else on road race?
No, just-
Thanks everybody who participated. And Jane, your grandson's article was really good.
It was pretty good, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was.
Oh, just one more thing. Harriet Coram also helped Cape Cool.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And Nancy, I hear you took care of thank you notes and
The
emails.
emails, yes.
Thank you for doing that.
I wrote one to Becky.
Okay. Yeah.
Wonderful.
And there
Okay.
were only, you had said there were only about 30% of the usual number, I think Becky had said, just so we know for the future. I mean, as a post-COVID year and it wasn't on the 4th of July.
They usually expect, I think, about 300 people and they had, what was it?
180 maybe? Or 120, I forget which.
You can look it up on the, there's a website that has all the times and all the participants. So, but then there's also bystanders and others. And the kids fun run.
Fun run, yeah. Okay, next thing was the Bourne request. I think we resolved that. Recycling news flyer or bookmark. Lydia had put this down as something we could do this summer, but summer's zipping by and then anything. A more general thing.
I thought of using the whale drawing that we had as maybe a bookmark that could work, or a card that could serve as a bookmark or a postcard. Something that's educational. And I did get some correspondence about textile recycling, so I think a lot of people aren't clear that can happen at the the Wellfleet transfer station. It just
Maybe
has to
we
be clean and dry, but it can be in any condition.
textiles.
Where does textile recycling go?
It goes to this Bay State Textile has a trailer there. It has two kind of windows and you shove the bagged textiles into it. It can be single shoes, it can be cushions and blankets and linens. Any condition just has to be clean and dry. And what they do is they separate out the things that the apparel, things that they think they can resell as clothing stores, thrift stores. And then they separate out things for rags. 100% cotton is really good for rags in all kinds of industries. And also the rest of it, they might chip up into insulation. So there's a lot
That's
of,
a huge white trailer that's there.
yes.
It's so full, I couldn't get my stuff in, but that was only once. Yeah, okay, thank you. I didn't know that they did so much textile attention to it, gave textile attention to it.
And there also is a similar kind of thing for books that is backed by
Yeah,
the library shed. But if
that's also
anything is
so
full-
full.
if anything's
Yeah.
full, just tell Jake at the gatehouse.
Oh, really? Okay, thank you.
They might have known, but in any
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely a lot of tips, but you know, the book mark that we did, that Marla Rice did was so lovely. We could use that.
Yes.
and just put different tips on the back.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Well, for
That
now,
was lovely.
I'll try and have something written up, and maybe we could use a different beautiful picture of Wellfleet.
Yes, we could. There's plenty out there. So we'll keep that on the agenda. Next thing was the recycling committee calendar that Lydia put together. Things that are coming up are September 1st, single-use plastic bottle ban going into effect, and the October Coast Sweep, which is a state organized beach cleanup. And this particular one is a number of organizations in town. Denny at the Wellfleet Conservation Trust organizes it. So we're participating in that.
That's
What
October,
date is that? October what?
Date? What's the date?
October 11.
Saturday,
Yes.
9 o'clock, I think it was.
No, it's a Monday. It's a Monday.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah, it's a former Columbus Day, Indigenous.
okay,
Oh, right, it's a holiday. Yeah.
okay.
I believe that's right.
And we have, I'm not sure if it was you, Lydia, or someone else that got a bunch of grain bags from a brewery that we used in previous years, and I still have them in my shed, some of them.
Yep, I have about, I think, a dozen of those.
Oh,
And-
wonderful.
Are we going to get some old lady grabbers too?
oh my gosh, that's right. We've got to get
Oh,
those.
yeah, right,
Should we get, I think we should do that.
okay.
Maybe 5 pieces, because there's,
That's more sanitary also.
yeah, especially if
Yeah.
you pick up a mask or something like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, we can put those in community cutlery to share with others who might need them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should we, who will identify where to get them? and
I'm
stuff?
having trouble hearing you, Lydia.
Oh, sorry.
Also seeing you because you're bright. You're
You're in
bright
shadow. You're in shadow.
or makes it unable to see your left. So we can, yeah, we can put grabbers on the list. We'll get to accounting, but we're getting very close to resolving accounting issues.
Great.
Thankfully.
I'm looking at I have a grabber right here, but there's no name on it of any kind, but I'm sure I got them from Amazon. Some people disapprove of dealing with Amazon. I do myself, but. Anyway.
Yeah, we bought quite a few for SPAT, for Oyster Fest.
Oh, good. Good.
I think for
Okay.
them. As a matter of fact, we can borrow those. They're all in their storage shed at the transfer station. So if we don't have any by October.
Get our own, I think, I think it's
Mhm.
important
Okay.
for us to have them real handy.
And are we meeting at Mayo Beach as usual?
I think so.
Yes. Can meet up at the beach, or maybe we can talk to them about a location that we want to do. One year we did Duck Harbor, where we got literally a ton of stuff.
And they
Just
have
about.
that really good tally sheet, so you're keeping track of things that you find, like bits
Right.
of plastic under, an inch big, and fishing line, kinds of categories that you keep a tally of.
Right.
On the local news last week, like the Boston news, you know how there are those segments where they somebody has a problem and they'll problem solve it, like Hank Philippi Ryan. It wasn't her, but it was one of those others, and it was a Wareham beach, and it was somebody who was responsible for cleaning up the beaches, and they were showing the huge overflowing dumpsters at the end of every weekend day, and there were a couple of volunteers who every morning filled trash bags, with their granny pickers, as you're calling them. And then they interviewed somebody down in Southeast Massachusetts, like, what is the solution to this? And he was saying, zero waste, no disposable plastic. I mean, in other words, there really wasn't.
Carry in, carry out.
Yeah, well, they have the carry in, carry out, and people who carry in and carry out then still look for the dumpster, or it still blows away. So some of that trash was accidental, but when there's so many people at those beaches, you're getting a lot of trash regardless of how good people might try to be. So I thought that was interesting that, yes, if you're looking for an easy solution, there isn't one. It's like reducing how much plastic we're providing.
Changing our habits,
Yeah.
willing to change our habits. Yeah.
So in any case, the recycling calendar that Lydia started on our Google Drive is, we're just trying to put in things that we need to keep track of, events as well as deadlines. So one of the things that we had talked, well, I'll wait till we get down to it. So plastic reduction, aquaculture, you know where that grant stands, Lydia?
Tom and Laura. Tom said you have the Shellfish Advisory Board. He's also joined the Shellfish Advisory Board, and Laura Ludwig of Center for Coastal Studies want to apply. It's just a question of when, and it'll probably be in the fall.
In the fall, okay.
And that would be for the Mass DEP micro grant.
Okay. And just to catch you up, Olivia, this has to do with a attempt to reduce the use of plastic in aquaculture, a lot of which ends up in the harbor. And the recycling committee provided stipends for 2 interns last summer, 2020, was that right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
They wrote a report, and then a grant was written, Tom and Lydia primarily, in order to get funding from, who was the funding from? MassDEP? Yes, it was a micro grant. But apparently it had to be submitted by a nonprofit, not a municipal committee. So it's being resubmitted to try to do a pilot on replacing all the plastic ties that they use to keep the racks down on their reusable little bungee things with ties on them. So hopefully we'll get that going at some point. Next thing is NIPSBAN Universal Redemption Law. I was reading about the Maine law and other ones that are pending, and I'll email out a link to this list of all the different bills that there's 2 in Massachusetts right now for the packaging, for production packaging specifically, all types of packaging.
Kind of like what Maine did.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Is it like Maine's bylaw, Maine's new law?
Yeah, something similar. There already are things for in progress for mattresses, batteries. I think those are the 2 big things that have sort of been prioritized by the waste industry. And the packaging is what Maine passed.
So that's the
The extended producer
responsibility, producer
Responsibility,
responsibility laws.
Yeah,
They have to kind of pay back the municipalities for the costs of recycling. That's the idea.
and hopefully change their supply chain so there isn't as much plastic and disposables. If they have to pay for it, then they'll probably change. And the universal redemption law is something that Maine already had, but I think that's come up before in Massachusetts.
That's where you can take any bottle and can and have it redeemed at a redemption center rather than just the ones that they happen to stock. So right now, these for instance, the Wellfleet Spirit Shop, they have to sort all these bottles and cans that they get according to distributor, and that
Right.
takes labor and time, and
Mhm.
so this would be, all of it would go into one pot, basically.
Right. So as far as maybe at our September meeting, we could start talking about any types of bylaws that we want to put forward, policies or regulations for the next legislative season. And I said last time that I would get some information on the NIPS bans that are currently, that have been passed on the Cape and elsewhere in Massachusetts.
That would be great.
Last thing under plastic reduction, packaging and reusable container survey. Do you want to update that, Lydia?
Well, usable container. Oh yeah, I spoke with thinking about the micro grant, the Mass DP micro grant. One of the suggested things they suggest that you'd apply for is reusables, like seeing if there's an entity in your town that would be open to offering reusable takeout containers. I mean, washable things like stainless steel. And we thought it might work best with a kitchen or, food purveyor that has repeat customers. So maybe those repeat customers, they get the same thing every week. Would they be, or the same thing every day even, would they be willing to have it come in a washable container and just reuse rather than getting it in a plastic tub that they would have to wash out and then recycle? So we thought asking the Mary Ann's Cafe at the Wellfleet Adult Community Center / Senior Center. They have a kitchen. In the summer, they have salads to go. And then in the winter, they have soups to go. And they had, before this latest spike in COVID, they had in-person dining again, I think. I don't remember the number of guests right now, but it was, much reduced from their heyday back a couple of years ago. Anyway, now it's all being, you can get it delivered, it's takeaway. And they seemed open to the idea. I mean, we could look into it and see, maybe do a survey and see if people would be willing, if they'd like. Some people might even prefer it because they don't have to deal with the recyclables afterward. There's, I guess, one drawback is a lot of people might take a container and put it in the microwave to heat it up.
Ouch, yes.
And do that with the stainless, so you'd have to, work that out. But it's probably not a good idea to heat plastic anyway and eat from it. So,
Right.
But this is, to be continued. I think if people want to work on it or have ideas for survey questions, could email Christine and myself and maybe propose a grant application. Talking with Terry Fraser, because she's the assistant director at the senior center, and also we could talk with some of the board members that run the Council on Aging, and of course the person who runs Mary Ann's Cafe.
I wonder if another venue to check is bakeries, because when I was a kid, if you bought a pie, it came in a glass pie plate and you paid a $2 deposit. And then if you got another pie, you would return that and you wouldn't pay the deposit on the next pie. You'd either get the $2 back or you'd put it to the next pie. And for like chicken pies, it was deeper casserole dishes.
Sounds yummy.
But that was, back in the 70s.
Was that
Where
around?
was this? Where was this, Nancy?
That was in Reading, Massachusetts at a Harrow's, chicken pie.
Wow. Never
You know,
heard of that. Mm.
Yeah, but I'm thinking
Right.
like, I don't think we have any pie makers around here, but like Marion's Pie in Chatham, I know they come in the disposable containers, but if we have any pie makers in town, if they wanted to go that route of a glass container.
Flying fish makes pies. But it would be, would be a nice project to research some, there's lots of literature out there on how to help businesses move towards reusables and the kinds of products that are available.
Mm.
There's a lot that has been done in California towns or municipalities.
There's some Boston. Carrie provided, actually Carrie and I think Aaron Victor of the Mass DB provided some Boston area restaurants that are doing something similar.
Mhm.
But I can send that around to everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, when I'm in London, my local butcher makes wonderful meat pies in, earthenware casseroles, and you pay a hefty deposit. So if they lose it, you bought a casserole, but otherwise you just keep taking them back, and it works very well, I must say.
Hmm.
A great project to promote in our community. So many. Next thing we had was, well, somehow I either skipped over or we don't have the, there it is under updates, commercial water bottle ban. Anything on compost outreach? That was another, would have been nice to do in summer. Lydia, did we talk last time about, I think you did, about the oyster shell pickups at commercial businesses that's been happening this summer?
Yep, Nancy got that in the minutes. That was all really good.
Yeah, okay. Did you send around minutes, Nancy, for the last?
5 minutes before this meeting, I apologize.
Yeah.
No problem.
I don't think we'll look at them this week, but maybe next month you'll have 2 to look at.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
thank you. No problem. It's summer.
Yeah.
Okay, so nothing on compost outreach for now. We had talked about trying to encourage commercial businesses and residents who don't go to the transfer station to sign up for compost service with a company that's willing to start service in towns that have at least 40 customers. That's Black Earth. So under updates, commercial water bottle ban. So this thing that we started working on in March is still languishing. We have considered different apps that we can use to publicize locations where refill stations are. And we haven't really had any luck on that. Lots of different issues. But what we decided to do for now is to use a private Google map, which I populated. I did get a response from a contact in Orleans saying, how come Orleans locations aren't there? I said, you give us the info, we'll put it in. So far we have
Where's
East
that?
Town and Wellfleet. That was Rick Francolini. So because he raised money to put, I think 5 or 6 really nice, $10,000 refill stations in with dog bowls and
They
bottle refill.
installed, are they actually in place now?
Excuse me, I think some are. I'm not sure the DPW is doing it, as in Eastham. And I keep thinking, maybe we just need to put someone in, before the town on DPW funding and installing like other towns are doing, rather than us trying to raise money and get it done ourselves. I have a call in to Chris. She couldn't make the meeting, but she said she needed to talk to me about the decal and where we go from here. There were questions about, well, where do we want to go from here? Do we want to print some of the decals and actually start going going around to businesses and trying to, actually, I don't think we really need to recruit businesses to, Jaya had to leave. She had a 12 o'clock meeting. Everywhere I go, I see places where businesses are offering it. So really all we need to do is say, would you like to have your business listed on our Google map for offering free tap water for bottle refills? And then put the nice little decal in their window.
I think that's a good idea.
So I guess the question is, do we want to, if all we have is the Google map, we can shorten, maybe there's a way to get it, a QR code, I don't know. But in any case, we can at least put get a shortened website that we can list on the decal for now until we figure out how to use an app.
Yeah.
Existing app. So Madhavi did say that the TAP app, which is what was available in the app store a couple of years ago when we started all this, needs $3,000 to be able to list it in the app stores now. So things have changed apparently.
Yeah.
And they don't have that money. What she did find out is that they're, I guess, trying to raise some money by providing their QR code. So for example, if we use their QR code, put it on our decal, every time somebody used it, they get 25 cents. I don't know if that would be from us, as probably from an organization that wants to put it on their printed materials or whatever. So so that would be something that, every time it's used, somebody pays 25 cents to tap.
That could add up.
Work for us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's something you have no control over. But in any case, that's what they had suggested. And it would have to go to their, since they're not in the App Store, it would have to go to their website.
I think we should have our own QR code and that will link to the Google map.
Mhm.
And it could be
Yeah,
on the
I'm not sure what
decal.
the thought on that, but I'll look at, if anybody else wants to research that, feel free. I can take a look. And I'll send I think I just sent the private Google map to the working group, the Outer Cape.
Yes, yes.
So I'll send that out to the recycling committee as well.
Thought, which is there was no 4th of July parade this year, but there is a Chamber of Commerce parade on, I think it's September 4th. Is that right?
I thought it was Labor Day, wasn't it?
Yes. Labor Day.
Labor Day.
For workers, but I mean, I wonder, they are inviting people to be in the parade. I just wonder.
Yeah, we should have recycling tips on big posters.
Right.
Could be
Who
something.
wants to organize that?
Yeah.
Maybe we can recruit the Green Club at Nauset to do something,
Yeah, that would be
zero
nice.
waste, a zero waste float or something.
Maybe it's a possibility.
But that's 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on with it. So what we still need, and what our original plan was to get a flyer out, emailed to businesses before September 1st, giving them ideas for alternative revenue sources, providing free tap water, that kind of stuff. So that still hasn't happened. And I do not have graphic design skills, but I'll start by putting all the information together, and then maybe we'll figure out a way to get it into something before September 1st. We'll see. It is summer. But anybody that wants to assist with anything related to that, please do so.
Well, this is Chris's special skill, isn't it?
It is, but she's really
Yeah.
busy with
Is she
her
too big? Oh, okay. Yeah.
leading story. She said the pandemic seems to have triggered a lot of people wanting her services to record family history and stuff. So she,
Oh, right, right. Yes, she's helping LF, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I
Yeah.
think
oh,
we
is
should,
she? Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. Mm, yeah.
consider, there's a couple graphic designers that we've worked with in the past. One is, well, we could work with a graphic designer.
True.
Well, there's Andrea Pluha.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's very good.
She is.
We could, Christine, maybe once you put the information together, we could get estimates or something, just.
Yeah. It would have to be pretty quick though, if we want to get something by September 1st.
Yeah, the letter that Hillary, the health agent, did send out a letter to businesses about the
Yes.
September 1.
Mhm.
So they are informed. And
They have been informed. Yep.
yeah, maybe there's something could be done, even a letter, I mean, an article in the Independent. I'm
Yeah,
not
the
sure
other
if
thing
they're-
we mentioned before is just doing an email blast since we're chamber members.
Yeah.
You know, we could just put something together for at least for their newsletter or for an email blast.
That's a good idea.
I mean, that's the cheapest thing to do. It's only $35. We just have to put the information together in some
Okay,
digestible form.
right. Well, I can help you with that, or, you know,
Okay.
you've got a lot there.
All right.
Yep, and if you send us what you have, and then we, if any of us
We can
play with it, you know,
I'll do that.
primitive fonts and that kind of graphic, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we were
I don't-
looking, Lydia told me about Canva, so I just joined that and they have all these templates
Yeah,
design that you can customize.
right.
So I was looking through all of them. They're pretty intimidating because they're professional looking. But we can definitely find something in there where we can just plug our little tidbits of information.
Right.
I want it to be short and to the point. That's
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll try to put that together this week and send it out. On water bottle refill stations, I'm getting a little frustrated with the harbor master because they haven't installed the one that's been in their garage for 2.5 friggin' years. I keep pinging them. They said, yep, it's on the list of things to do. It also, you know, they were going to put it right by the boat ramp, like right on the outside where everybody would see it. And now they decided to put it around behind the harbor master's office on the outside of the women's restrooms facing the water, which is going to be a much less visible sight.
Of course.
But apparently it's easier to hook it up there. So what we may need to do is do some signs directing people to where it's hiding. So,
Actually, it will be on that little walkway though, won't it?
yes, it will.
It will be on the walkway, yes, yes.
Have
It's
to-
on the walkway, but you know, if you're looking for water, you need a big sign.
Yeah.
You know, because
Sure.
if you were looking for water, you would probably look at the front of the building. You wouldn't
Right.
take a walk.
Women's restrooms, right?
Well, you'd have to have a sign sending them around the corner.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
When I was at the 349 Cafe, they had these nice big bright signs, cafe end of the pier. So I figured we'll have to do something like that. And then as far as the town outside of the town hall, it looks like our accounting issues, I'll bring up accounting here because we haven't had access to our gift fund. So I have been working with one of the accountants, Lisa, and we've made good progress on most of the like 5 or 6 issues. So we will have, she's on vacation now, she's coming back on the 9th. The last thing, 2 things that we're working on, hopefully will get resolved soon. So we do have $4,223 in our gift fund, 2 different accounts. 2,000 of that is earmarked for the town hall bottle refill station. And the rest is our operating budget of $775. So we have about 5,000 at our disposal. So hopefully by our next meeting, we'll have access to that and we can start making some expenditures like buying grabbers and whatever else. Social media posts, I don't think Chris has had much time, but she said any ideas that anybody has. I don't know if she's done anything on the textiles yet. I'll have to look through on Instagram. She may have, but any ideas if you have, send them along.
Let's do September 1st, plastic water bottle ban.
Oh, does she have one? Did she do one for that? Oh, you were saying she should do that one, right? Okay.
And then there's the coast sweep thing coming up. I think they have graphics already, so they haven't issued those yet, I don't think.
Okay.
The compost company sign up would be a good one to put on.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if I mean, they're not on the outer Cape yet. And I think there kind of needs to be an effort to, well, actually what they've said is that people can go ahead and register on the Black Earth website saying there's interest. And then when enough people in one town have it, magically they'll, but I don't know if they've come all the way out to what, they're in Falmouth now. I don't know how far up the Cape they'd come without any other contracts along the way.
They might be able to, I think Stop and Shop in the past, they separated out their food waste, and I wonder what's happening with it now.
Good question. But yes, that's something, you know, we have the residential compost or food waste at our transfer station, as do Eastham and Truro. Provincetown apparently does not because of rats.
Right.
But, you know, anything anybody wants to work on, there's lots to do. So if that's something you want to follow up on, if you decide to join, of course, Olivia. Let's see, next thing, community cutlery and library of things. So I can buy the grabbers. And committee vacancies. So hopefully Olivia will decide to join us. We would love to have you. What else? Minutes. So next time we'll look at minutes for July.
And August.
September.
August. An accounting report we just discussed. Any correspondence or future agenda items? I guess I think we pretty much have all our placeholders on the agenda, but if there's anything else, let us know.
For the grabbers, you should probably get 7, as we're a 7-member committee.
Well, I have my own.
Yeah, but still.
I'll see what they cost.
Yeah.
I doubt we'd have everybody out there grabbing trash. So our next meeting is September 7th. Is there anything else anybody wants to bring up? In that case, I'll try to remember things that I said I was going to do, and everybody else as well. Thank you for joining us. Let us know, Olivia, if you're interested in joining.
Definitely. Do I have to submit the application to the select board? Is that the next step?
Yes, I think you
I
send
have
in
the
the
application. Okay, I'll mail it in.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We're delighted to have you.
Great, I'm very excited. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. All righty. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Thanks, Christine. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Nice to meet
Bye.
you all. Bye.
Bye.
Welcome,
Bye.
Olivia.
Thank you.
Bye, Ellen.